Hello and welcome back to my knitting podcast. My name is Sophie, but I'm better known as the Knit Purl Girl over on Instagram, Ravelry and here on YouTube. I'm a full-time knitwear designer living and working in the south of England, and this is my podcast where I chat about my design process, what I'm working on at the moment and yarny stuff. So I'm very happy to be back with you today. It's only about 3 weeks since I last filmed. I was on holiday for a full week, which was so nice. It was so nice to have my out of office on and not look at my phone for a week very much. Brilliant, highly recommend it. I will never complain about being self-employed because I love it and would really struggle to go back to regular employment. But it's very difficult to switch off, so I kind of try and make a point a couple of times a year of not looking at my phone, and it's so nice, so nice to have a proper break. So yeah, that was lovely. And back now. It's been a couple of weeks. I think I've been back at work for like a week and a half. I don't have any finished objects to talk about today. I have some yarn, I have some works in progress and ideas that I'm kind of going to be developing hopefully in the next month or so. I have all of my design releases kind of scheduled up until October now, and then I know what I've got options for like November, December, January, but nothing firmed up. And actually I think what I've been working on has switched things up a little bit, because I do try to have a pattern release a month. That's what works best for me. But we'll see. I'm also really trying to work on not saying "but yeah" all the time. I realise it's a really bad vocal tic that I have, and I don't use it in my normal speech. I don't think I've been monitoring myself doing it. And then when I go to edit this footage for the podcast, every other word or every other phrase is "but yeah, but yeah, but yeah." So I'm very sorry if that's been getting on anybody's nerves. I am aware of it. It's just really difficult to speaking to a camera is weird, so that comes through. Anyway, let's get on with the podcast. I'll start as always by talking about what I'm wearing, which is the Billie Tee. This pattern is available now. All of the information, as always, will be in the description bar with links to the pattern on Ravelry and my website and the discount information. It's just a very simple, oversized, boxy t-shirt with some stripes. It has shaping at the underarm, so this has some decreases for the size that I made, but for the bigger sizes it'll have increases. It's finished with little sewn hems, which I really love on summer knits, and the collar has very minimal finishing, so it's just a little stockinette collar that kind of rolls on itself a little bit, but it feels nice and casual. What else can I say about this? Made with Knitting for Olive pure silk in the shades Cream and Cardamom, which always sounds delicious. I could go for some cream and cardamom flavoured things, which is a really lovely yarn combination. I'm a big fan of Knitting for Olive pure silk. I've used it fairly often in the past. I think this is maybe my 5th garment made of it. Maybe it's not that many, maybe it's 4th. I don't know. I need to go through. I need to get my knits out of like the vacuum sealing that I keep them in. It's 100% Bret silk, so it's got this very pretty, helps if I actually get some out to show you. It has a very pretty kind of textured look to it. So it's not perfect. It has a slight bit of sheen, but nothing crazy. You will get some silk yarns that are like sheeny and they are super shiny and glossy looking. That isn't this, and I think some people are initially disappointed when they work with Knitting for Olive pure silk the first time, because they are expecting kind of I don't want to say a more premium looking product, because I think this is very much a premium yarn, but something glossier, something silkier looking, whereas this almost can look a bit like cotton because it's quite matte, and like I say, it has some glow, some sheen to it, but nothing crazy. But it's a really beautiful yarn. It holds up really well in my opinion. It wears well. I think it will stretch out a tiny bit with lots of wear, but I think if you're making a garment that has positive ease, that will be less of an issue. I've seen people use it for lots of camisoles, obviously. It's one of my friends who got into knitting in the last kind of 18 months. She went straight into knitting with this for some of my favourite things, knitwear camisoles. And actually it's quite a beginner friendly yarn in my opinion, because it's not too splitty in my experience compared to some of the yarns that I remember trying to use when I was first learning to knit. And you can see your stitches really clearly. It's got good stitch definition, which I think even, in this stockinette t-shirt, I think you can see. But yeah, big fan of this, really big fan. Anyway, on to the proper knitting chat. So like I said, I don't have any finished objects to show you this month. I just haven't had time to finish anything really. I would have done, but I got sidetracked by a big work in progress that I'll talk about in a second. But I've only, as I said, been back at work for about a week and a half. I was off at the end of May, kind of going into the start of June, and then had a week back at work. But then that always feels really weird, doesn't it? So I didn't actually get a lot of work done that week. I think I did the Lisa Top launch, filmed last month's podcast, did what I had to do to kind of keep the ball rolling, and had a bit of a break because, you know, you get I don't want to say burnt out, that's putting it a bit too strongly, but it's nice to kind of just have a bit of time to replan your creative, I don't know, something like that. and then we were camping in Cornwall for a week, which was really fun. We had a great time. This campsite in West Cornwall, which is just my favourite place in the world. It's so beautiful there. The landscape is amazing. Pasties are great. I love pasties. Only had 4. Would have liked to have had more. But we went to a few new to us places, which was really great, and went back to some other towns in Cornwall that we really like, that we've been to in previous holidays. So yeah, that was a really good time. But it hasn't left a lot of time for knitting, so I haven't, like I said, I haven't really finished anything. I've tried to do some incremental progress and like knitting admin almost, so kind of putting the collars on some garments that I've been neglecting and partially blocking stuff. So I will do like a quick summary, and I've got a couple of new cast-ons as well. 3, I think, new cast-ons. Yeah, that sounds right. So I'll start with this one, which is the biggest and the most exciting by far. This is the Gwynver Sweater, and this is inspired by the beach by the campsite we stay at in Cornwall. I'm obsessed with this. I haven't been able to put it down. I cast it on the night before we went to Cornwall and did the back yoke, and then went from there, worked on it whilst we were away, and haven't really stopped touching it since we got back, which is saying something because it's been so fucking hot here. Sorry to swear, but I feel like I need to get it across how hot it was. Oh my goodness, I know it's become a bit of a meme, like how hot it can get in the UK, but when it's hot here, it is hideous. We don't have the infrastructure for it. We're British, we're not, I don't know, I would say I can kind of cope up to 25 degrees centigrade. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, sorry, just Fahrenheit makes no sense to me. And then anything above 25, it's too much. It's so humid and muggy. Anyway, I've used this hot spell of weather to get really into working with very woolly British woolen spun yarn, so that's been fun. So yeah, I was working on this through the heat wave, so kudos to me for that, I think. Anyway, all over cables, double moss stitch, lovely texture, rib collar, and I've done one sleeve and picked up the stitches for the second sleeve. So this is made with the Raw Wool Company Softer Sea Mist DK, kind of, I'll get onto that in a second, which is a beautiful yarn. I don't have any hanks, so this is actually the 4-ply label, but that is what the label looks like. And I'll put a picture here of the wool. So big fan of the Raw Wool Company. I've bought quite a lot of yarn from them in the last month by kind of mistake. I picked up 3 hanks of the DK version of this yarn, which is a blend of 70% British Romney lambs and 30% British Dorset wool. So it's really beautiful, lovely woolen spun. Yeah, it's just really nice. It's very soft, very lofty because it's woolen spun, and airy and warm. It's just beautiful. I really, really recommend it. It's currently out of stock, which has been a bit of a problem for me. So yeah, like I said, I bought 3 hanks at the Big Flock in Bristol last month. Was that in May? Yeah. Which was great. I had a brilliant time there. And I was like, I'm going to make a cabled vest. That'll be fine. And again, I'll put a picture of what this looked like before I put the sleeves on here. So yeah, it was going to be a vest. That was the idea. I wouldn't have had enough yarn even if it had been a vest. It just would have been less of a big deal. But I loved the project so much. I was like, this needs to be a sweater. It's just crying out for some sleeves and to be a super cozy, traditional style jumper. And so yeah, that's what's happened. The sleeves look like this. They've got the central motif. So it's big cables, mock cables, and a kind of ladder. I don't know what you'd call, I know there is a proper name for this, it's just me being lazy, but it's twisted ribbon garter combination, and it makes a nice kind of ladder shape. Really beautiful. Drop shoulder, That's what the shoulder construction looks like. Yeah. So I thought that'll be fine. I'll just order some more, but it's made in quite small batches because it's beautiful Cornish wool. Just lovely. Going to be a lot of Cornwall chat in this podcast, so I'm very sorry about that. For anybody outside of the UK, it's the region in the UK at the very southwest. It's very beautiful, coastal area with a rich mining history as well. Amazing place. Really, if you're ever in the UK, I really recommend making the effort to go down there because it is just beautiful. Big fan of Devon as well. Devon is also great. Love the southwest. Anyway, where was I? I'm so rambly. Oh my god. But yeah, so I couldn't get any more yarn. It was sold out in the DK weight. I managed to find some from an older batch, which looked like this. So that's kind of what it looks like in the hang. You can see it's quite, so that's 220 metres, 240 yards. So it's quite like a nice chunky boy. So this is actually 100% Dorset wool, it hasn't got the Romney blend in it, and it is as such a slightly different colour. So if you look at the collar, which I did in this, I think in this light, you can see it's different, it's visibly different. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can live with that. That's really, like, not to be dramatic, but stressing me out. So I panicked, spoke to Anton, who runs the Raw Wool company, and he suggested trying the DK held double. So that's what I've done for the sleeves, and I am going to be doing for the collar. So yeah, that's what the 4-ply weight looks like. Yeah, really lovely stuff. So this is slightly thicker than, it's not quite half the weight of the DK, so the sleeves are slightly chunkier than the body of the sweater, but it's fine because the colour is the same and I can live with that so much more than I can live with it being a different shade of white, as ridiculous as that sounds. I know I'm being a bit of a diva. But yeah, more fool me for not just buying more yarn in the first place, because I think I might have needed a total of 6 hanks. But I think I probably could have gotten away with 5. I just make the body a bit shorter, which I'm fine with anyway because I'm so short in the torso. I don't mind a cropped sweater. But then I did want this to be kind of super, almost masculine feeling. Kind of, it's obviously designed to fit a feminine frame. But I mean, obviously clothes are for everyone. There's nothing innately masculine or feminine about an item of clothing. But to make it fit, I have modelled it on female measurements. I hope that makes sense, but I want it to almost have the feeling of like you've borrowed your partner's sweater or your dad's sweater or something. I don't know, something like that. I hope you know what I mean. But I am really, really pleased with it. It has quite deep armholes, which is kind of partly what I mean when I say it has a kind of masculine feel to it. So I've done some interesting decrease rates through the sleeve. So you're decreasing quite rapidly through the first part and then more gently, and then stopping the decreases at a certain point. Finish with half twisted rib, which is always really beautiful. I've been steaming this as I've knitted it because obviously cables want to squidge in on themselves. And yeah, I think I spoke last month about the yarn I bought in Sweden, in Stockholm, and how I'd had this idea to make a kind of Gansey inspired piece. I don't know if I showed you the drawing I did for it, but that was, yeah, so I've kind of been toying with these ideas for a bit, for like a month. So it's really fun to kind of see it come into reality. I haven't made any progress or frogged that other project yet, but I should, because I'm going to make I know what I'm going to make with it now. I've decided I've got another drawing. It's going to be like a raglan with that kind of finish. Anyway, very rambly. So yeah, Gwynver Sweater, I'm hoping to get this finished this week, but I don't know, I've got quite a lot of admin to do because I need to finish. I'm filming this on Tuesday, the 24th of June. Billie Tee is coming out on Friday, so I need to do quite a lot of editing and admin and edit this video and stuff, so I don't know. There's quite a lot of knitting in the sleeves. But very pleased with this. I think it's going to be beautiful. I am going to make a vest version, and I'm going to use the old batch of Soft as Sea Mist DK, the 100% Dorset one, to make the vest version. I know what changes I'm going to make sure I have enough yarn so I don't have the same issue with the collar not matching. I'm going to make it a bit shorter, and I'm going to do a split hem, which will save a bit of yarn, I think, because there'll be slightly fewer stitches, and just make every bit of yarn count. I'm also maybe going to make the shoulders not quite as wide, but then I don't know, I think they kind of need the width I'll see. I'll experiment a bit, but at least I don't have to swatch because I know how this knits up, so that's going to save a little bit of yarn. But really recommend this. If you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend it. It's not the cheapest yarn, but really, really great stuff and a lovely little business too. Sorry, it's slightly different filming setup and I'm still wearing this. Just filmed the B-roll for Gwynver Sweater, and I should say I'm going to reknit the collar in this, the 4-ply held double, instead of keeping it this, because I'm not super happy with how my twisted rib looks anyway. It's on the bias obviously, so I need to figure that out. But I also wanted to talk about this book that I got in Falmouth as well from a different yarn shop. It was like more of a general craft supply shop, but it's a book called Cornish Guernsey and Knit Frocks by Mary Wright. And it is a really beautiful resource. I don't know if this is available online, I haven't looked, but it says 30 knitting patterns, but it's actually like a traditional stitch dictionary, and they're all hand illustrated, which is incredible. Absolutely love looking through this. I've had so much fun with it. I'm gonna try and make some swatches up. But really inspiring and beautiful. I have a similar book for colour work, this one, which is by Mary McGregor, and it is Fair Isle Knitting Patterns, reproducing the known work of Robert Williamson. And this has charted motifs. I love the teapot, that's so fun. But it also has some, illustrations that are just so beautiful. They're made by hand, and oh, I love them. But this is a really wonderful book. You can definitely get this online. I think I got this posted from Scotland. But it has different motifs they're organised by the number of stitches in each repeat and the number of rows over which they're worked. Really, really great book. I love resources like this. They make me really happy. Okay, next up, I'm just going to do some rapid fire updates on pieces that I've been kind of, like I said, doing some knitting admin on. I put the collar on this colourwork sweater that I showed you last time. That's the back, that's the front. So I've done the same collar actually that I did on the Gwynver sweater. So this is done in half twisted rib with a rolled edge. I know this kind of had a bit of a moment a few years ago and I'm a bit late to the party on it, but I really like how it looks. It's nice and stretchy, even though it's just no, I did the root bind off. So that's where you, it's a sewn bind off where you, using a darning needle, go through 3 stitches purlwise, slip the first stitch off, rinse, repeat. So you're always kind of going through 3 stitches and you get a really nice elastic bind off. Really like it. But I'm really pleased with it now that the collar is on. I think it makes it look a lot less crap, honestly, because it always looks so weird before the collar's on. I like applying the collar afterwards. I like casting on, going straight into the yoke for this kind of design, and then applying the collar because first of all it means I can decide what I want to do later on, and also I think it reinforces the neckline quite nicely because you do have that seam and the pickup. And it's easier to get a stretchy edge, really, I think. But yeah, I'm about 10 centimetres off finishing the body. I did buy a bit more yarn for this whilst I was at the Mill Open weekend at John Arbon Textiles in Devon. This is made with Harvest Hues worsted weight. All of the shade information will be down below. And it's just a very simple colourwork motif. My camera isn't loving picking up those shades, but it's got like a silver, a red, an ochre and a light blue on this really beautiful deep navy blue background. This was going to be my January release, but I think I might bring it forward because I'm so much closer to having this finished than the piece I was. Yeah, I think I just need to move things around, but I really like this. I think it's very fun. Planning to do some fun details of the cuffs, so hopefully I will be able to show that to you as a finished object next time, because it's obviously going to be, July is longer than June and I'm away a lot less, which is going to be nice. I love going away, but I do find it very disruptive. So yeah. Similar note, I wet blocked, this is another John Arbon Textiles Harvest Hues project. This is the Fin sweater that I've been working on very slowly since December. There's a lot of knitting in this. Oh shoot, I need to tell you what needle sizes I'm using. Gwynver Sweater, 4.5mm needle, US 7. This one, which I haven't named yet, I don't think. No, I haven't named it. Also 4.5mm US 7. And this one is on a 4mm US 6. This is made with Harvest Hues 4-ply and Issaya Alpaca 1. I've shown this to you quite a lot, so I'm not going to talk about these too much. But basically, I was getting a bit frustrated because, again, cables want to squish in on themselves. And I was really worried that I'd made this too small. I'm not a fan of very clingy shapes on my body type because I'm petite, but I'm quite curvy, and it just makes me feel uncomfortable. I always has, probably always will. I don't like anything that's too figure hugging. Don't like it. And whenever I was trying this on, it was just going right in, and I didn't like it. So I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to frog all of this. So I wet blocked it, let it dry overnight whilst it was really warm, and so glad that I did, because it's absolutely fine. Again, this is blowing out the exposure on my camera, but I've still got about 10 centimetres left to do. I just wanted to update on how it was looking, and I think it looks really nice. The cable pattern is so nice, so very excited about this. Again, hopefully we'll at least have the body finished by next time. Again, this is like a little accountability thing, but I'm worried it's boring because I've spoken about these projects so much and have had so little progress on them for a while. I haven't done anything more on my 4-ply Senon, I just haven't had time. I did the sleeve pickup before going to between filming, I think. I can't remember if I'd done this the last time I filmed or not. But I picked up the wrong number of stitches and it was a headache to fix. I think I just need to redo the underarm bit of the pickup, but I just couldn't be asked, to be honest. So that is another job for this month, so that'll be fun. And that is all the progress I've made on all the small bits of, small works in progress. All British wool so far, apart from that alpaca one, which I'm quite pleased with. I'm trying this year, I've decided, to use more British stuff. I've always been quite pro British wool because I've got high wool tolerance and I like it, and we've got such a brilliant history of wool in this country. It's one of the few things we do really well. And yeah, I just think it's good. I want to support more British businesses and whatnot. Oh, Senon 4-ply, speaking of which, is Merino Skewer Mend It 4-ply in the shades Night and Sheep Cloudy Base. So yeah, with that in mind, trying to use more British wool, I have 2 new cast-ons. One is something you have seen before in a different form. Shell tee, I'll put a picture here because I can't be bothered to go and get it, even though it's literally just behind me. I just am being lazy. Trying to do the opposite of what I did last month, where I was like up and down, getting shit for my drawers all the time. But yeah, shell tee, pattern coming out in August, currently in test knitting. Test knitters' work is looking fabulous. This is the sweater version. It's not really a sweater, it's a long sleeve option in the pattern, but I am using a woollier yarn. The 2 samples I've made so far have used a alpaca, silk and linen blend from Zakami Yarns and the Camel's Yarn, two British hand dyers who I really like. This one is using wool. So this is made with Garthaner Preselli, which is a Welsh yarn producer. I believe that these are slightly different blends of yarn depending on the colour, but I might be wrong. Yeah, there is a slight variation, so some of them have, but it's a Polworth yarn base with some Romney and then some Hebridean, but in different proportions. I'm slightly concerned that Garthaner might be discontinuing this because I've looked on their website a few times and it's sold out in most colours. But then I know that they are they're a small producer. So it's possible that they just haven't updated their stock yet, but this is what it's looking like. I've only done a little bit. This has been my kind of out and about project lately because it's so simple. But I've just joined in the round and I've done 3 stripes. The final colour for the stripes is, nope, not that one. God, went to London to see some friends over the weekend. We were in Hyde Park and I was knitting away, which was lovely. But I've gotten like loads of pollen stuck on my yarn, so it's all like covered in crap. But it's this kind of dark petrol blue-green, which I really like. I would need to look up what the colours are because I can't remember, but the base shade is Marble, for what it's worth, and it is a lovely, very me, neutral, cool grey, light grey, really pretty. This is Paphos, I seem to think. I'm pretty sure this is Paphos, and it is just the most beautiful bright blue. Can't remember what this is, but this is the petrol green. Lime green, which is almost neon. It is such a fun colour. And this lovely, again, very up my street, kind of dusty sky blue. Really, really, really pretty. I love this shade. And this has a little bit more texture in the colour, I would say. It's also been dyed over a darker base yarn, but I think together these shades are really fun. I really like that combination. I've spoken about this yarn quite a few times, so I'm not going to bang on about it for too long. But really nice to be working on this project. I think it's made with a 3mm US 2.5 needle, so it is a lot of knitting, which is why I'm starting now, because I don't want to have to rush through this sample in August. Really fun. It's a raglan sweater with compound increases, so hopefully the fit is really good. I'm planning on this sample having the ribbed collar option because my other one has I-cords, which again will make it feel a bit more sweatery, which will be nice. But yeah, going well. It's going to be a bit of a slog, but I think doing the stripes, especially with different colours, does break up the process a bit. And I've said this before, but if you are looking to get more into working at a 4-ply fingering weight gauge, I really recommend doing some project with stripes. That was also the case with my Billie Tee. It just makes it so much less overwhelming if it's like, okay, I need to do 20 rounds in main colour and then I can switch. You've got that goal. You're not thinking, oh, I've got to knit 35 centimetres in stockinette. Oh, what a slog. It's 20 rounds, 10 rounds, 20 rounds, 10 rounds. And this, you're striping every 6. You're doing 6 rows or rounds in one colour and then changing. So it'd be more ends to weave in because I am breaking. I'm keeping the main colour connected. I'm not at the moment because I need to rejoin it to the new beginning of round. But yeah, I will be keeping the main colour attached and then just swapping in the contrast colours. But that's fine. I don't mind that. I don't mind weaving in ends. It's not the worst. It's not my least favourite knitting job. I'm trying to think what my least favourite knitting job is. Second sleeve. It's got to be a second sleeve. Oh, anyway. And then finally, the other cast on I have is this cardigan. It's currently not on the needles because I need to add a bit of length to the yoke. I think you can probably see it's quite a short yoke. And it was when it was really hot and I shouldn't have been working on this really. I should have just found something summery to knit on, but I was stubborn, which is, I know, very out of character for me. But it just needs probably another 2.5 centimetres, another inch in the yoke. So I'm just gonna undo maybe the last 4 sets of increases so I can space out the sleeve shaping a little bit and make sure everything is the right size. So this is made with, I bought this at Unravel Autumn last year, so I tried to use yarn within 1 year of buying it, so I'm just flying in under the radar really. But this is organic Shetland wool from Middle Campscott Farm in Devon, and it is really beautiful woolen spun yarn. I'm again using a 4.5mm US 7 needle for this, and it is just in stockinette. I did an Italian cast on for the collar because I want this to be as kind of minimal as possible because I would just quite like a plain cardigan. A few rows of rib and then getting into the raglan increases. The raglan I think looks really pretty. So it is, I'm doing lifted leaning increases, so RLI, LLI, instead of make one right, make one left, around a purl stitch for the increases. And yeah, I think you get this really pretty but very simple line. Yeah, it's this very pretty mild oatmeal-y greyish shade. It's very sheepy. Beautiful, beautiful yarn, has to be said. It's got a lot of character to it. I really like woolen spun yarn at the moment because it is, I don't know, it has quite a lot of personality, I think, which sounds like a really weird thing to say maybe, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm listening to The Vanishing Fleece by Clara Parks at the moment, and that's talking about her journey getting some merino fleece that she bought from a friend, processed by different mills in the States. And the way she talks about woolen spun yarn, I really agree with it. It can feel kind of like rustic and almost like oatmeal-y. But very, very nice. I really like it, and it's going to be very warm. This has 110 metres, 119 yards per 50 gram ball. So yeah, this is going to be a nice little cardigan. I'm looking forward to, again, like a nice comforting project, nothing too crazy. I think because a lot of my ideas at the moment are for quite complicated, highly textured pieces, I'm looking for simple stockinette as much as possible too, just to balance it out. So yeah, really fun, really looking forward to it. If you wanted an alternative to this kind of yarn that was more widely available outside of the UK, because I don't know, they do have a website, you can buy this online, but I don't know if they would ship outside of the UK. But something like Railwork Original would be ideal. This is the lighter weight version, I believe. Yeah, this is the 2-ply, but they do have a DK. It's kind of knits up closer to an Aran weight, I would say, but DK version. So this is 300 meters, 330-ish yards per 100 gram hang. But yeah, they do a thicker one that I used for the Ekin sweater at the start of this year. I can't remember what the yardage is. I'm not sure, I wouldn't like to say, but really lovely yarn, wool and spun merino. It feels quite similar, even though this is quite different. So this is Shetland wool. But I think for all of what I've talked about today, really, this would be a great option. I love our work. Really nice yarn, really nice people, and that's what we're always going for. In terms of new yarn that I've bought this month, not loads, and most of it has been different iterations of the Soft as Sea Mist DK that I bought for the Gwynver sweater. So that is kind of all knitted up in here, or I've shown you already. So it's going to end up being a really expensive project because it's fine. I'm going to use the other ones for the best, so it is fine. But yeah, I bought more white wool. So whilst we were in Cornwall, we went to Falmouth, which we'd never been to before, and there is a really lovely yarn shop there called Stitches and Cream. Really, really amazing. Again, lots of British wool, lots of lovely hand-dyed stuff. Really, really recommend it if you're there. Again, they've got a good website, so I think everything is available online. But lovely shop, recommend popping in. And Falmouth was such a nice town, really liked visiting there. And I saw this, which is from Paulstone Farm, and it's Jacob Lambswool from Cornwall. Told you there was a lot of Cornwall chat in this episode. So this is a double knit wool and spun yarn, spun in Dorset, and it is from autumn 2024. So that's lovely. I'm going to make this that I showed you just now, this design idea, that I'm always going to do in navy blue with the yarn from Stockholm. I thought that was quite nice because, again, got married autumn 2024, and then that's the yarn I bought on honeymoon, and this is being like spun then. I don't know, there's some significance there, I'm sure. But yeah, I got a sweater quantity of this. Not super cheap, but I really liked it, and I don't know, I want to support local businesses there as well. I think that's important, and it does feel really special, so I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be lovely. And who doesn't like a cream jumper? They're just classic, aren't they? So yeah, a bit of a weird episode today, sorry about that. Very work in progress heavy, and again repeating stuff that you have seen before, so I apologise for that, but such is life, such is the nature of this podcast. Hopefully I will have lots of, well, not even lots, but I'd be happy if I had 2 finished objects by next month, because yeah, it's like about a month's time till I'll be filming. I haven't filmed the Sanders Garn review yet. I've written it, but I need to make some swatches, and I need to do a bit more kind of prep and polishing of what I want to talk about. So hopefully that will be uploaded in mid-July, depending on how busy I am. So yeah, I will see you then. I hope that you are keeping well wherever you are in the world. Anyway, I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.